Hey everybody, this is David. Thanks for checking out my show. Today I have a couple people that are going to be guests. It's a teacher and students at Montwood High School in El Paso. They have a really huge and successful robotics program and team. And I found out about them late last year because they were winning some competitions and they were moving up the ranks and were going to compete nationally. Then COVID stopped all of that. So I've got them on the show. It's a teacher and three students from that program, and super interesting. I never built any robot. I haven't built a robot yet, but it's so cool that these high school students are doing that, and it's interesting to see where they'll end up. But anyways, hope you enjoy.
Would you like to live forever? We are finally starting to understand the human brain. Born from artificial intelligence singularity, I give you a last machine.
The David Bramante Show.
Cool. Hey everybody, how's it
Hey,
going?
how are you doing?
Good.
How are you doing?
So we got a few people on this on the show today, which I do one-on-one. So this is pretty cool. So this is kind of experimental, but I think that's fitting because it's robotics, and so we'll try to make this work. So I have Luis Ramirez, and you are the robotics teacher at Montwood High School in El Paso, right?
That is correct, as you can hear the amazing announcements being made right now.
I know. So you're in class right now.
I am at school right now.
Yeah, that's so cool. All right. And then we have a few other people from the team or teams. Could you introduce them that we have them?
So we have Reyes Mata with us today. He's the president of the robotics club here at Montwood High School. We also have Saeed Aho, and he is the vice president of the robotics club. And then we have Valentina Valles with us. She's the team leader on one of the teams here at Montwood High School.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the intros. And then it's been a couple months, but I saw there was some contest or something, and I don't know anything about robotics. Sometimes I see like a crazy video on social media of like toasters with swords stabbing each other, or I see like weird, crazy things on like maybe TikTok, because I recently joined just to like try to dig into this world a little more, because I feel I'm on the outside looking into robotics, and it kind of bums me out because I didn't get exposed to this stuff. So maybe we could have Reyes kind of explain the different teams you guys were mentioning and people's specialties. Where are you guys right now? You guys, looks like you guys are not at school. So if you guys could, Reyes, maybe introduce everybody and you guys kind of introduce yourselves, that would be cool.
Yeah, sounds great. So those most people do think of robotics like the battle bots and then robots fighting each other, but what we do is pretty different. So the competition we mainly focus in is called FTC, which is a part of the FIRST organization. Okay. So FTC stands for First Tech Challenge. And in this competition, we, well, of course, there's a robot aspect where we design and build a robot and program it to do a set game that changes every year. And then there's the like documentation, making an engineering notebook to really just establish like everything that we went through in order to make the robot and make it function, because just a part of engineering, it's not going to be right the first time. We have to go through trial and error, a lot of research in order to get the robots that we have today. And then there's another aspect, which is pretty cool, because FIRST realizes like we can't just start a robotics competition and expect it to flourish. So a major part of the competition is actually outreach, like going to the community, showing them what we've done and what we're doing. And that's one of like the major aspects of the competition. And then as you were saying about the different like departments and specialties that we go through, there's different categories. So within my team, I have separate like department heads. So there's me, who's the team captain, and then I have a building head who mainly organizes the design and the actual engineering of the robot. Then the programming head, who designs with the coding and the research for the program, which is Said. And then there are other departments like outreach, notebook, and art. And then Valentina is also a programmer, but she's also the team leader of our separate team. So because Montwood Robotics is such a big team and it's very large, we can't have everyone working on one team, because we just can't have 50 people working on a single robot. So we have two teams right now. We used to have three, but Unfortunately, due to COVID, we had to limit our numbers. So right now it's 5470, which is the team I run, and 5911, which is the team Valentina runs.
And what's with the number, the 5917 or 5911, just so I understand that?
So that's just like our identification within the competition. So
Okay.
there's a bunch of different
in
teams.
the first competition, that's you guys have like a set number. Does that number change every year as you enter, or
No,
that
that
identifies you guys permanently?
yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I know nothing about this stuff, so I'm gonna ask super basic question. So bear with me. So how many people right now are on the like whole team at the school, and then how many people between the two sub teams, or you know, you have the
We have
school
about
whole team and then the two separate teams.
we have about 34 students overall at Montwood High School on the robotics team. And then they're split right down the middle. We have 17, it's about 17 and 17 on each team.
Okay. And then of those people, everybody has an active job.
That's the idea. Yeah, we separate, like I said, like Saeed said it very, I'm sorry, Ray said it very well. We separate
Yeah.
into different departments.
Uh-huh. And how often is everybody meeting? How often are the students on the team meeting?
Every other day. They're meeting right now.
Okay. And how many hours do you guys work on it? On these is it 2 robots or one that you're working on?
2 different robots
Okay.
in 2 different locations currently.
Okay. And are the teams allowed to communicate with one another, or is that like a violation of the competition or the
No,
challenge?
we encourage it. We encourage
Oh.
it. Although we're competing against each other,
Oh.
we want to help each other. And, you know, not just the teams within Montwood are helping each other, but we try to help out our neighbor schools as well. We want them to be successful also. And so we help them as much as we can. You know, we're not giving them our code and our design plans or anything, but we can have, you know, workshops or explain, you know, how certain parts of the code will work, or give them tips. Ray's is really good with the mechanics, and he can tell another team, hey, you might want to use these different wheels or this different kind of channel for this piece. And so we can do things like that.
Okay. All right. And then so for last year's challenge, one of the 2 teams won locally.
Well, we actually both advanced. Both team, or we used to have 3, so two of our 3 teams advanced.
Okay.
One of them won the robot game, which is like the actual competition.
Okay.
And one of them won the Inspire, which is like outreach, notebook, and the competition sort of combined.
Okay. All right. So that was locally in El Paso that both of the teams won.
Absolutely. And then from
And then
there,
there was a next round.
Mhm.
Okay. And then how did the teams go? How did they do? How did they fare in that next round?
We did pretty well. Both the teams that advanced got first and second Inspire. And
Okay.
like I said, Inspire is like the main award. So it's Inspire.
Yeah.
And then it's the robot game. So because we got first and second Inspire, that means both of our teams advanced to Worlds, it's pretty crazy that the first El Paso team to advance to Worlds was actually 2 El Paso teams.
Yeah. That's cool. And then how did you guys do in Worlds?
Unfortunately, it got canceled due to COVID.
Oh, so nobody knows. This is like, it's yet to be seen what happens with this.
So
that's
currently, you know,
crazy.
we were preparing during spring break for our world competition when we
Oh.
got the call that said, you know what, all first events have been canceled. And I was actually going through my old messages to find the date that I sent the message to everyone telling them that everything had been canceled. And it was going to come later. I was going to send Ray's message to the whole team, but he had some really positive words and said, hey, you know, we're all bummed out that this happened. We worked so hard to get here, but I know that we're going to continue to work just as hard and get there again next year, this year now. And we're there, and we're looking stronger than we did last year. And things are lining up for us to advance to the Worlds, both teams, once again.
So there was no Worlds competition or challenge last year at all.
You know, the entire season shut down.
Okay, so just to backpedal for a second. So when you guys win locally, is there some cash prize or something that you guys get as students or as a school or anything like that? You guys get a trophy?
Trophy. We get
Okay.
a trophy.
What does the trophy look like? Does it look like a robot or something fun, or is it just like a standard like?
I wish it did, but it's a pretty standard trophy. I mean,
Okay.
it's a nice one. It's a nice one. And the one that
Uh-huh.
you get over there when you go to Lubbock, you get a huge banner similar to what you would see like at a, college
Oh, like
or
a stadium banner. You see the year and the names, or yeah.
exactly.
Oh, very cool. Okay, have you guys won before? You won worlds before?
Last year was our very first time.
Dang, you guys got robbed. COVID. Sorry, guys. So now you have to, everybody has to re-enter. It wasn't like last year was paused and we'll pick it up this year. It's like they're starting fresh. So when does the first local challenge start?
Well, we've actually been having the league plays, which are like the small competitions leading to our local one.
Okay.
And we finished with those last weekend, actually. And we're doing pretty good. We're doing better than last year, robot-wise for the competition.
And who
So-
determines who's doing well and who's not doing well? Who's actually like the ref on these things?
So we it's stranger this year because we have to like record and do our matches live here. Because actually I'm in my garage, so I could show you the robot.
Yeah, that's cool.
So there's like the fields. Basically, this year we have to shoot these rings,
Uh-huh.
this high goal, and hit these markers in order to get points. So we built this robot. I'm not sure if you can see it that well.
You guys really built whatever this thing is.
Yes.
This is so crazy. All I know how to do is like very advanced Lego work. So this thing can do what you're wanting it to do now?
Yes. It's actually doing pretty well. It's nearly built. There's a couple things we need to perfect on it, but we record our matches live,
Okay.
and then we send that to our hub, which is UTEP, and UTEP documents our scores and sends it to the first website, and then first has them all categorized on how many points you have accumulated compared to the other teams. So right now, 5470 is first in El Paso, and actually first in the Panhandles area.
Okay.
Gavin, give me a second, dude. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
5911 is, I believe, third in El Paso.
Okay. Okay, interesting. And then so does every year the challenge change where you have to, like this year you have to shoot these rings? Did they send you these rings? Do they send you the stuff you have to do for like the obstacle course or whatever this is?
We have to buy those.
Okay, you buy it from them?
A distributor. So Andy Mark, it's like a company that they sort of paired up with first.
Okay. Okay, cool. So so everybody has those same orange rings and they have the same obstacle or those targets. Those are all standardized.
Yes.
And then it's standardized on where the robot can be. You have to move it to a certain area for it to be able to count to hit the points.
Yes. So if you can see this white line here,
Yeah, I do. Uh-huh.
we have to shoot from behind this line in order for the points to actually count.
So from that white line to the target, how many? It looks like it's like 5 or 6 feet. Or is it?
I would say it's about maybe a little less than 5 feet.
Oh, okay. And are you able to, do you have to start the robot at a certain place and move it to the white line and then it starts shooting the target?
Yes. So actually, Syed would probably be better at explaining the different segments.
Okay.
Because, well, yeah.
Yeah, so during the actual robot match, there's a total of 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and within that time, there's 3 different segments in which there's different things that the robot must accomplish. The first 30 seconds is what is called the autonomous period, and so that's where the programmers program the robot to do the tasks autonomously without any human control. And so this takes different research and different techniques of code to be able to move the robot autonomously. So at the first 30 seconds, you have to make sure the robot moves to the right positions to shoot the rings. And then there's another element that I think is right behind the robot, which is what we call the wobble, and you have to drop those off in those white squares marked. And
Mm,
then after the autonomous period is where we have the teleop period, which is human controlled, where we two people, which we call drivers, get what are game console controllers, very similar to what PlayStation controllers look like. And so you control the robot movement and the different mechanisms to do the tasks in a minute 30. And the last 30 seconds is what we call end game, and it's still human controlled, except the tasks change, and most of these tasks are worth more points than in the regular teleop period.
okay. Wow. All right. Thanks for explaining all that. So this robot that we're looking at, is this a type of robot? Is there a name for like, because we've seen like the battle bots on TV and in the news. Is there a category of robot that this is?
I don't know like an official category, but I guess the most accurate name would be an FTC robot.
Just for the challenge, the FTC robot. Okay. And
And
then
they give you a ton of options as far as what you use to build a robot. I mean, the list of approved materials grows every year. And so you can go through different companies to buy like the structural components of the robot, the wheels, and everyone has to use the same electrical systems. But the actual structure of the robot, I mean, we have tons of options.
and so what you guys have built, are there restrictions on how big it can be, and there's
Well,
parameters on that kind of thing?
You want to answer that, Vale?
Well, every year they had like a weight limit to it too, but since it's online and most of them are remote, they don't really have a weight limit. But as far as size, it's an 18 by 18 by 18 robot.
Mhm. Okay.
18.
And normally, what is the weight restriction normally?
I think last year it was 40 pounds.
It's like 40 to 50 pounds, I think.
Pretty heavy, yeah.
And,
For like
and honestly, the robot, it's 18 by 18 by 18 at the start of the match. Once the match starts, it can expand to as big as it wants, as big as you can get the thing. It just can't be, two different robots, or you can't have a drone.
Wait. Why would the robot expand?
So there's some pretty good reasons. One, especially this year, we have to grab these wobbles, these little like not goals, but elements, and then put them over this wall. You see that perimeter?
Yes.
We have to put it over. I can show you how it works if you would
Okay,
like.
so what is that thing? It looks like a toilet plunger. This thing you have, a wobbly toilet plunger. What is that thing called?
It's called a wobble. So basically, if we get this over the wall, we get 20 points at the end of the game.
Okay.
And we actually get more points if you put rings on it, although it doesn't make much sense to do that because shooting them is more points.
Oh, right. Because once it's out of this game, this field, you can't get them back. So there's some variation on how you can accomplish the points.
Absolutely.
So there's a little strategy there too.
Absolutely. There's several ways to score.
Oh.
So what we try to do is figure out what's going to get us max points.
Mm-hmm. Got it. You guys are going for the maximum. You're not going for layups.
Exactly.
Everything you guys are doing, this robot's trying to hit home runs.
Exactly.
Very
This
cool.
is one of the faster robots that we've built here at Montwood. Is there any way you can show us the speed of it? Can you drive it, Reyes? Or
Yeah, the voltage is a little low, but I can definitely drive it around.
This is so cool.
And typically when we compete, it takes about 2 drivers to do everything.
Really?
So we want to show off speed. So you see those wheels on the robot? They're called mechanism wheels, and it allows us to drive and strafe left and right, forward and backwards.
Wow. Okay.
And we have a lot of the students are pretty well versed in CAD programs, and so a lot of the parts on that robot are 3D printed. They designed them on CAD, and we 3D printed them here in the lab, and so they're custom parts.
The parts so there's parts that you can buy from vendors, and then you're allowed to create custom parts as well.
Yes.
Oh, and then there's restrictions on the custom parts you can make, or no? Or if you can make it, you can use it.
It's really more if you can make it, you can use it.
Really?
As long
I
as it
think
stays within that 18-inch cube.
Got it. And so
I-
did this one expand?
Just the arm here. So let me drive it around. This arm is designed to grab the wobbles.
Oh, right.
So we just drive up to it, line ourselves up a little bit, and then grab it.
Oh, nice.
And
We'll
like
also go
it only takes
over
2 drivers.
What did you say, Said?
to go over that expanding rule. It also makes sense on the type of challenges. So in last year where we had to stack a tower of bricks that looked like Legos, we needed an arm that needed to extend very high to make a very high tower.
Oh, right. Almost so like a self-expanding kind of arm. It had to kind of
Yeah.
shrink into itself and then go expand out.
Some arms were able to expand up to 6 feet. It was crazy.
This is so crazy. Okay, so it almost looks like what's that old like Tinker stuff from the 60s, Connect, or they were like these old metal,
Yeah.
some of the pieces look like that, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Sorry about that. I mean, I can show you what some of the channels look like. We recently stocked up on some new stuff, and so they come in a bunch of different sizes. In the past, we've had to cut some of these up.
Oh, got it. Oh, and this comes from where?
This particular piece comes from a company called Go Builda.
Okay.
And so we've just recently jumped from, we've gone from Tetrix to Rev to now Go Builda.
Oh, these are the different vendors that have sets for this. And
And
they're all they're specialized for these types of like either robot building or the competitions.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
And so they sell kits, for private use, for private, whatever you want to do with them, and they sell just for this competition.
Okay.
Some are better than others.
Okay. And then so what is the language that's operating this thing? Robot.
For the programming language, we programmed them in Java.
Okay. And then so does everybody on the team know how to program in Java?
No, and what we tend to do is that the upperclassmen who do know how to program the robots want to teach the underclassmen, the younger students.
Okay. And just so I know, how old is everybody on this?
I'm 18.
Okay.
I'm 17.
I'm 17, but they're both seniors and I'm a junior.
Okay. All right, cool. And then when did you, so like, so the lead programmer is Said?
For 5470 team, yes.
5470, okay. And so when did you start programming in Java?
Specifically in Java, it was during my freshman year actually, and it was the upperclassmen at the time. They taught me a little bit freshman year, but not much. It wasn't until sophomore year when I started learning more.
Oh, okay. And you started to teach yourself at that point, but they gave you some of the basics. Is that what happened?
Yes.
And that all happened in school? That was all.
Yes.
And then, but it sounds like you were programming before that, before high school?
A lot of the programming that they've learned, they didn't learn it here at school. I can say that because there's no Java class here at our school. So a lot of it is self-taught.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I did want to make it a point to mention that everything that they do, everything that the teams do, they completely do on their own. The students learned it from the upperclassmen, and in those upperclassmen, every year they just teach the underclassmen, and then those underclassmen start getting the hang of it, and then when they become upperclassmen, they teach it to the next group of underclassmen. And every year I have students that say, what are we going to do once these seniors leave? and I tell them we're gonna be just fine. Like
Really?
they've taught you everything that you need to know.
And you've seen there's been obvious improvements year after year because of this.
Absolutely, it's worked for us very well.
And is this how other schools or other high schools are operating? Do you know?
I don't think that all of them are.
Okay. So some of them actually have like classes on this stuff and they're really going after this robotics, like teaching it as a
It's
curriculum.
not against the rules for an adult or a mentor to come in and work on the robot or
Oh,
do something,
really?
as long as it's documented in the notebook.
Uh-huh.
That's not something that's done at our school.
How-
100%.
Is there a particular reason why you don't do that?
I prefer it. They completely own the team.
Yeah.
Everything that they produce, everything they do is 100% theirs.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And my job is just to keep them working, keep them together,
Yeah.
keep them on task.
Right. And then just a little backstory on this program. Are you the one, Luis, that started the robotics program at this high school?
Yes, it used to be me and some other teachers, but it's very time consuming. It takes a lot of time, and so
Okay.
some of them had to let it go to do other things that they had to take care of, and so I'm the one that's remained this entire time.
So how long has it been since it started?
We started this in 2010, 2011.
Oh, that's a good run. Yeah.
So this is I think it's our 9 or 10-year anniversary.
Really? So what inspired that original group of teachers to put this program together?
We identified a lot of talent in our campus. There was a science club, there was a math club. We had just started teaching the engineering courses, and so we wanted to do something that put it all together. And so what better place or what better club to start up than a robotics team that incorporates all aspects of STEM. I can't think of any other STEM competition that really truly incorporates all aspects of STEM than robotics.
Right. Yeah. So that's cool. And then did you have some background in programming or robotics?
Well, I have a degree in engineering.
Okay, cool.
For a while I was teaching mathematics, and honestly, I was thinking of something. I wanted to build something that I wish existed when I was in high school. And so we did have one when I went to high school, but it's nothing like what it is now.
You had a robotics team or class or some kind of class in your high school?
Yes.
And there
But,
are you from El Paso?
Yes, I'm actually teaching at the school that I graduated from. So
Wow.
it existed for 1 year at the school, my freshman year.
Uh-huh. It's
But
so
it's
crazy because when I saw the news that you got, this was like late last year, but when I saw the news that you guys won, I was like, El Paso, like why is it not some high school in the Bay Area or, so that was kind of, do you have like any feeling on that? Like why you guys seem to have this like really robust group of, super smart kids that are doing this here versus like why not other areas?
I want to give some credit to our district because they're really putting a lot of emphasis on STEM education. They're getting, a lot of programming and hands-on STEM type classes now at the elementary. So they're starting at the elementary, they get it at the middle school level. And so when they come to me as freshmen, they already have a background in the design process or just thinking outside of the box.
Got it.
What I do is I take those students that are interested in that and I give them one of the most challenging things that exists to do at the high school level: design and build a robot. I mean, what harder thing is there to do?
Because building a robot is hard.
Absolutely.
I haven't built one yet, so I don't know.
It's not easy.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, you guys have big teams to put it together.
They've struggled and they've suffered. They have this crazy idea that they want to build and they build it and it doesn't work.
Right. Uh-huh.
But they learn from that.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting. Have you personally built any robots?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Maybe just little side projects here and there, but nothing like what they're building. No.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Well, so now back to this robot for a sec. So where are you guys? So it sounds like you already started competing locally. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next round will be regionally. I don't understand like the actual like chain of events that get you to worlds. Could somebody
So-
explain that? The different rounds?
I'll be happy to do that. So it's Worlds is at the top, then it's the Panhandle area, which is like all the small hubs that go to the region, and then it's the local one, which is UTEP. I'm not sure if you're familiar with UTEP. It's a university here at El Paso.
Okay.
And at UTEP, that's where all the high school teams around El Paso meet together to compete. But before UTEP, there's these league plays, which basically they're like small versions of the competition where it's just the robot. And these scores, they actually help us while we're at the UTEP competition. So if you did really well in the league plays, then you're already at a higher position when you go to UTEP.
Oh, sure. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, interesting.
So
And then
Texas is massive. Texas is massive, and it's broken up into 4 regions. Our region is, the little west tip of Texas, and then we have the entire Panhandle, which is Lubbock. We also have Odessa and Midland, and so kind of like central to the Panhandle. That's our region.
okay.
There is the Houston area region. There's South Texas and Central Texas. But there's a lot of strong competition within our region. I mean, Texas is massive. There's a ton of tiny little towns, and they're all in this. They all compete. It's
So
all
cool.
over the U.S., all over the world.
Yeah, it's so cool. When you go to Worlds, then is it really high schools from all over the world, or is it just the U.S.?
No, we'll get some high schools from Mexico there. I've talked to other teams that have been to Worlds, and they're like, yeah, it's really interesting to see different high schools, especially from like different countries. I haven't heard of any other country, but I do know Mexico.
Got you. So do you guys know if there's a first tech challenge? So there must be other challenges happening in different countries. They're just not, they haven't connected all of them, or they're just running their own competitions.
They're at different times. Like I think Australia is either just starting or they finished. Or do you remember, Said?
Yeah, Australia finished at the beginning of this year actually. They're like local and they're national level competition.
Are you guys allowed to compete in those? If you wanted to, are you able to enter?
We can.
Mhm.
We can technically enter. We got to pay their fees, and obviously, we got to pay for travel. But if we really wanted to, we can go and compete with the Australian teams.
God, that'd be so cool, huh?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So now let's say you guys, so the next round is you're doing the leagues right now, and then that's kind of getting everybody's rankings. So you guys are getting in position now to actually go through. When does the challenge end this year? When will we know who the winner is? 'Cause it's still pretty early in the year.
Well, for UTEP, that's going to be taking place in, I believe, in 3 weeks. But,
Oh, okay. So it's coming up.
yeah, but our Worlds competition, that won't be until the summer, I believe, June,
Oh, okay. Got
July.
it.
Late July, early August. They're pushing it just in case.
Got it. Okay. Cool. And then for you guys that are working on this, do you guys have other little side robot or programming projects that you're working on?
I have different projects, like I'll work on my own. But here in robotics, if there's not much for like a builder to do, we'll start working on another robot or designing something that we've seen other teams do, trying to figure out like what exactly they did.
Okay.
I know Said has done some other projects on his own as well.
I
Robotic
tend
projects?
mostly programming where I try to learn like more in Java or other programming languages just to get better. I've also done something with like small electronics like in in Arduino, which is a small microchip which allows you to attach different electronics like LEDs, sensors, just to do different things.
I had heard about it. I just bought one because I had on the show recently somebody who wrote a book that's from basically the hardware up to the software, how computers really work, Matthew Justice. So in it, he has a list. It's like $300-400 worth of supplies, that you can start to become an engineer and programmer. So I just started playing around with that. Yeah. But I don't really even understand it yet. I don't know what to do with it. So what is it that you're using the Adreno for? Do we know?
Well, I don't have many like parts since most of them are very expensive.
Right.
So I've used LEDs and a small joystick just to create different visual effects mostly.
Okay.
Nothing too complicated.
Yeah. So it's just really you're just challenging yourself to see what you can make these things do.
Yes.
And then what do you guys when you're out of? Do you guys know what colleges you want to go to?
I've been accepted to UT Austin, the engineering school, but I'm hoping that Stanford gets back to me. So that's what I'm waiting for right now.
Cool.
I'm on the boat of waiting for Stanford to reply to me as well.
Really? All right. Cool. Valentina, do you know where you want to go?
No, I'm a junior. I still have to figure that out.
You have time.
Learning. Yeah.
So you guys like what kind of do you guys watch sci-fi that inspires you? Are there movies or something like any like robotic stuff that you guys really gets you excited about this stuff? Whether it's real life or sci-fi?
I grew up a really big Star Wars fan, so just seeing like all the ATT walkers and the Falcons was really interesting. So I always wanted to get into technology.
A lot of people got upset when the what is it, BB whatever, the round one.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't do that. Right? That's not doable. But then they built it so something can do that, right? On the what is that one called? That robot?
The BB-8?
Yeah, BB-8, yeah. Because
Yeah,
it's like a magnetic head on the round body that rotates.
I think I've seen like a toy of it somewhere, but I haven't seen like a large scale version.
Yeah. So Star Wars, some of those movies inspired you to do robotics?
Definitely.
Very cool. What about you? What about you guys? Any other things that you've seen that have inspired you?
I know for me, I'm a big sci-fi nerd, as you see from like my Doctor Who backdrop,
Nice.
where I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and that got me into technology, and so did Back to the Future.
Oh, really? This is kind of old school stuff.
And so I just have random like computer parts laying back. That's where like I got into the technology things.
Okay, yeah. This is crazy. I don't know if I was allowed to do this, but this happened. I found okay, yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm gonna just tell you guys anyways. Maybe I'll have to edit it out. I found a Tesla that crashed in Topanga, which is like a very like mountainous kind of cool woodsy area inside of Los Angeles, within the Santa Monica Mountains. And so there was a really rainy couple weeks, and so somebody was driving a Tesla. I think they drove it right off a cliff. And so I was living in Topanga at the time, and so I was driving in with my kids, and I saw in this ravine, very deep into the pretty deep into the mountains. Maybe it's like 50 feet, maybe a little bit farther. There's just no way they were going to get this Tesla out of here. A beautiful cream white, gorgeous, like I know it was brand new. And somebody just drove off the side of the cliff and it crashed into there. And I went hiking in there. At first I saw it with my kids. I was like, oh, I got to come back. So I went back and I'm like, everything was still good inside this Tesla. So I started to take some of the pieces apart. Kind of crazy, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. It seemed abandoned. There was no way they're getting this Tesla out of there. So to me, it seemed like a waste. So I figured out, I went back a few times, and over the course of a few times, I figured out how to disassemble the console. And I got, I think, the two main computer pieces out of this Tesla. But I don't know how to turn it on, what to do with it. I just know it's advanced stuff. I'm afraid that once I figure it out, Tesla is going to get an alert, and then cyborg police are going to come to arrest me. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I allowed to tool around with? First of all, was I allowed to take this stuff or no? What do you think? Is it fair game or no? Or no opinion?
I'm gonna go with no opinion. I would just kind of watch over my shoulder for the feds. They're gonna bust in through the windows.
I know. But do you guys, are you guys familiar with that kind of technology, what it's running on, and how somebody, hypothetically that found this thing could fire this thing up?
I mean, I've seen some YouTube videos of like people making a Tesla truck. I think with the actual alternating like the AC motors they have.
Oh,
But
got it.
I would have no idea on how to do something like that.
Yeah.
I think
I
with this group of students and many others, they're pretty resilient and they know where to go to look for that information.
so that's a big part of it is the
They would
researching.
go to the forums and they could find out how to get this thing going for sure.
So what would be the big forums? They're big obvious ones, like would you go to Reddit, or are there other more specialized forums for this kind of stuff?
Reddit would be a start, I would think. Saeed?
I would have to agree with Reddit. That's how some of the research I do, because there's other teams who publish their own questions and responses, and that's where you learn a lot from Reddit.
Really? Okay. So maybe I can rebuild a Tesla now. We'll see what's going on there. Well, that's really cool. All right, awesome. So if somebody wants to get started in building some little robotic thing, how, who wasn't exposed? We were talking about this before we started recording, but I feel like right when college started for me in LA, all the technical schools and programs got defunded. So I was really looking for, especially in LA, it's like car culture. So in 2000, I graduated high school in 2000. So in 2001, I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn how to build a car and, do this other cool stuff. Because in high school, I learned some programming and there was some design programs. So like a lot of, like I learned Dreamweaver and like Flash. This is kind of archaic stuff at this point, but it was super advanced at the time. So I just like assumed that these technical programs would last forever. And then the first year where I was looking forward to taking apart, maybe rebuilding a classic car, they all started to disappear in LA. You guys still have those programs in addition to the robotics? You guys have people working on cars there and that kind of stuff out there, or no? In high school or college?
I I have some friends who do stuff like that on their own time, but I've never really seen like an actual technical college.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So if
I
somebody
know
wants, yeah, sorry.
I was just gonna say I know on the software side there's like a small like uprising on like different softwares coming. There's a company here who I know the owner of, whose name is Ivan Huerta, and his company of Parabeak, where they do some software where they take like drawn design in Adobe or something and convert it into computer code.
Oh,
And so there's other small companies who are trying to do something with software.
got it. All right, cool.
Hey, David, I'm going to have to take off.
Okay.
If you're welcome, or want to keep going.
Yeah, maybe a few more minutes. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for helping coordinate everything. And thanks for putting this program together. It's so amazing. I wish more and more of these programs start popping up.
That's actually one of our goals. We want to help other schools build up.
Yeah, I would love to, like, offline, you and I stay connected and you can help me because, I have 3 kids now. I have a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-month-old. And I just, I want them to be immersed in this stuff. To me, it's so obviously important. And, there's all this like humanities stuff and that's all wonderful, and even like arts and everything. But like the technical side seems to be missing around us. So I kind of feel like I need to supplement that, whether have the schools do it or I just need to do it on our own time, because I feel like I didn't get exposed to it properly. Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you again. We'll stay
Thanks for
connected.
having me, and thanks for having us. You all can stay.
Yeah.
Finish.
Cool. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I guess what I would ask you guys, just kind of wrap up a couple things, is you guys mentioned that part of the program is community outreach. So when you
Yes.
say community outreach, are you going like door to door to neighbors, or what does community outreach look like?
Well, I think Valentina should probably take this question. Her team usually does stronger in this aspect.
Yeah, community outreach is basically your team's way of spreading the core values of robotics and like in STEM, because it was really hard for them to start putting all the teams together. So now it's up to the teams to spread it within their communities. And like my team, for example, last year, a big reason why we won is because we got into contact with all the little Girl Scouts teams and all the Girl Scouts troops, and we would set up little based STEM activities with them. We had little robots that we would let them play with, and we teach them about our robot. We would do science experiments, and it's just that like starting that spark of interest in little kids so they can then go and ask their parents like, hey, I want to be in robotics. And that's like one of the big core values in the competition.
That is so cute. Oh my God. Oh my. So what are some of the youngest kids that you were doing this
Um,
with, how old are they?
well, this year we haven't been able to get a lot of events because obviously the Girl Scouts aren't meeting that much. But like last week we had 2 events, and I think the youngest girls, I think 4 or 5 years old,
Oh my
6.
God,
Or
that's so cool. That's
and
amazing.
yeah, so interesting to see like how interested they are in that, because like I was exposed to middle school and they're like elementary school, so it's
Yeah.
so yeah, and it makes us all feel better. It helps us grow as people too.
Yeah, that's very cool. I just have to ask you, because I'm curious. I have my oldest kid is a 7-year-old girl. Are there a lot of girls in these programs, or,
Um, well, like team dynamics wise, my team is half and half. It's half female and half male, but everything like programming wise, it's all female. Building wise, it's female dominated. It's all female dominated. I don't know about the other team, but that's my team. And yeah, and like just because of gender, like girls have always been in robotics. Like the first person you meet is a girl in robotics, and I love that as a girl in robotics,
Yeah.
especially I feel so accepted. Like even
Yeah.
Saeed has been a teacher, and like it doesn't matter that I'm a girl. He's helped me, and they've all helped me, and I love how accepting the robotics community is.
That's cool. So what would be a good way to have my daughter get excited and start this spark of wanting to be like a robotics engineer?
Mm, honestly, I would make her watch robotics competition videos. They are so
That's what worked on you?
yes, even with the little Girl Scouts, like they were really interested as far as making science experiments with little packages that we made and delivered to them. But as soon as we pulled out the camera and the robot, like all the girls were like, "Oh my God, my brain just exploded."
Really? Okay. Because
Like,
you're
we were
bringing
like,
the actual robot to them, so they're seeing this thing in action.
yeah, last year we did, but this year since it was a virtual meeting, we just had to turn the camera and I was like, "Hey, here's the robot," and then all of a sudden they were all going crazy over it.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna do this for sure. This is a smart little trick. All right. That's amazing. Okay, cool. All right. Well, yeah, I guess that pretty much covers it. I know I have so many more questions, but I know you guys have other things going on, so I want to be respectful of your time. I hope that we can all stay connected. I would love to see, hopefully you guys get into the schools you want. I'm always in the Bay Area, so it'd be kind of fun if we could stay connected after this. And then yeah, I'll watch and see how you guys do in the competition. And hopefully, you do well. Are there parents or other people in the community that are like sending you guys money or support or anything like that that can help you guys, or no? I don't know how it works. Reyes is laughing.
Yeah, because
Do
actually,
you guys take donations? I don't know.
we have this like I guess it would be like a fundraiser campaign thing where it's called Snap Raise, and people can send us money through emails, or I think they can just look us up. Can they? They might need our email, but we've actually been doing really well in that. I think we're up to 12,000 or 13. No, sorry, 1,200 or 1,300 right now, which is
Okay.
Whoa.
more than.
We're at right now.
Oh, sorry, I'm way off.
Yeah, we're at 13,000 and our fundraiser has like 5 days or 6 days left. So we've been doing
Really?
really
That's kind of a lot of dough. How much does it cost to build one of these robots?
It really depends. It's not only just building the robot, but it's
Yeah.
also registration fees and getting like the team shirts and stuff like that.
Right, getting those, yeah, pop collars.
But I would say like the robot behind me,
Yeah, how much is that thing? What would you estimate that cost you guys?
geez, I would say maybe like 900 to 1,200, somewhere in that range.
So it's not too bad.
No, there's so first, like I was telling you, it's a big organization and they have different competitions. The one we do is FTC, but there's also one called FLL, which would probably be perfect for your daughter to get into because
FLL?
yeah, it's just like putting Legos together and the Legos have motors and it does a little competition. That's the one where I know I started off with, I know Valentina started off with, I'm pretty sure Said also started off with them.
Okay.
So perfect introduction. And then there's one called FRC where their robots cost like about what a small car would cost.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. So the FLL I'll check out. Yeah, I got the little set of those mechanical Legos, but then as I was putting it together, I realized I was missing some parts, and that got super aggravating. So you must experience that too. That's just like, wait, I would like put it all together. I'm like, there's definitely tons of parts I don't have to make this work. So then it's like kind of like, oh, you got to go and find them. Yeah, interesting. But you guys are also making some of your parts.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a pretty big like issue, I suppose. When we started off, we didn't have a lot of money, so a lot of other teams had these parts, and we're like, "Oh, that'd be so perfect and easy to have." So we
Yeah.
kind of had to accommodate just by designing different things.
Yeah, very cool. All right, well, the only last question I have, which I ask everybody, and you already raised, you talked about it, which is funny, but I always ask, which do you prefer, Star Wars or Star Trek? So I don't know, and usually I kind of feel like it's an age thing, but and you already mentioned Star Wars, but you guys have a preference on those two? You guys
So,
watch Star Trek, or is that like too old school?
I've watched Star Trek.
No, Valentina, you've never watched it. Okay, do you know what it is or no? Okay.
Yeah,
Have you watched Star Wars or no?
some of them, but not all of them.
Oh, okay. Maybe there's a different reference. Is there a different movie that's comparable to those or no?
Not really.
Okay.
A big sci-fi nerd. I don't know how I ended up in robotics.
Oh, that's so funny. Syed, what were you gonna say?
That I've watched Star Trek, but I think I'm going with Star Wars because I'm more familiar with it.
Right, yeah. I know they're
But
completely different.
but Doctor Who is my sci-fi thing.
So why do you like Doctor Who so much?
I'm not sure exactly why. I think it was like the first sci-fi thing I watched, and it just intrigued me so much, that concept of being able to time travel and visit different eras.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you have one episode in particular that you would recommend people check out?
In specific, I think the most popular for the newer seasons is called I can't remember the exact name, but it introduces the famous enemy of the weeping angels, those stone statues that if you blink they move.
Oh, stone statues. I've never heard of this. Okay, I'll check that out. Yeah, I like sometimes I get these recommendations and then I definitely will watch it. So I'll I'll try to find that episode and watch it for sure. All right, cool guys. Well, thank you so much. This is really exciting. I'm rooting for you. I hope you just go to Worlds and dominate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Have a good day.